Tax Advisory Board for the City of Trinidad, Colorado. It's Thursday, January 23rd, 1:06 p.m. First up is the roll call.
Jason Decker. Amanda Corp.
Here.
Joe. I just say Joe.
Cosby.
Sorry.
You're all good.
Chris is not here. And Ashley Ryan.
Here. All right, approval of the agenda. Take a look. Any changes to the agenda today?
Motion to approve.
All right, and a second.
Second.
All in favor of approval of the agenda, say aye.
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 Minutes. The minutes is going to be the next page for you there, Amanda. Any changes to the minutes?
Oh, okay.
I've already read them. I'm good.
I mean, this is not really that important, but I typed Ashley twice instead of Amanda absent, so I'm
Oh.
gonna update
Oh,
that
look at that.
right now.
All right.
But in terms of the actual content of the minutes, I don't believe I have anything to change. So, motion to approve them with a very slight amendment of changing Ashley to Amanda.
Second.
All in favor of
Aye.
approval of the minutes? Aye. Did you vote?
Aye, yes.
Okay.
Aye,
All
aye.
right, thank you. All right, first up, DIQ budget review. So this is where we were gonna have our questions answered, and Miss Veronica has that for us. So on the budget that we submitted, or the proposal we submitted, we had several items under tourism marketing that got put into the marketing budget. She's gonna tell us kind of where those items went.
Yes, so last time we discussed that there seemed to be a discrepancy between the budget sheet that you all had and the budget sheet that I had. There actually is no discrepancy. The problem is that this sheet that you all had was very much a draft proposal. This sheet that I had, that I didn't know you all had this one and you didn't know I had this one was actually the one approved by council.
Because it has blue lines on
No, because it's totally different, totally different. So the line items don't align, however, the line items on the draft are actually embedded into the line items on the final marketing budget that you have in front of you. So,
How?
Just to clarify, this marketing budget is just the portion of the Lodging Tax Advisory Board budget that is the 35% for sustainable tourism marketing, including advertising and attracting conferences, conventions, capital expenditures, and meetings. So that's what this portion is.
correct.
Okay.
How did it go up?
We had I think we talked about it last time, maybe not. So the 259 that we were given was actually based upon the estimate that Cheryl had for the year. That number is slightly higher, so it gave us
So
the
they just adjusted their
$40,000.
forecast up?
Hmm?
They just adjusted their forecast up?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So instead of 259 for this marketing section, it was actually 299 after the numbers came in.
So can we extrapolate that across the remainder of the budget then? So the entire lodging fund should have gone up by the same proportion.
I would imagine yes. I have not done the math,
Okay.
but I can work on that for next time.
That also will probably leave us some amount remaining that's not allocated. So
In each section, there is kind of an unallocated
yeah,
amount.
percentage, yeah. But like there are some areas that are left over, right? Like
like, this would be the leftover for
Right,
that.
yes.
And then
So,
the
like,
other miscellaneous would be,
We'll have more funds available there. Like, so that's a good example, the
should-
event funding, that should have gone up as well, so.
I will
um,
email Cheryl and see if I can't get her final number here, and then do the math for the rest.
Yeah, or if she has it, it doesn't have to be.
She might have it.
Yeah, basically we just need the top line,
I don't know if they went through this document, though. They may have made it on document.
but the ordinance has those percentages.
Yes. the
Defined,
percentages
so like that
stay the
should
same.
be in her budget, I would think, so. Yeah, we can just get our final numbers there.
No problem. Okay.
So luckily, we don't have to cut anything as we thought that we might have.
That's
Yeah.
great, yeah.
So you did say that we're going to move.
The only thing on the draft proposed budget that is not included in the final budget is the Raton visitor guide. I believe, if I remember correctly, it's like only every other year that they do that, and so that got kind of dispersed into the other line items.
That's cool.
Do we want to go through line by line and see where they're at? So the architectural tour, what do they have that under? Maybe the miscellaneous.
It might be miscellaneous, but there's not enough for that. Oh wait, nope, I was looking at the wrong thing. Yeah, I believe that is under miscellaneous.
Yeah, that's just the 348. And then the radio on the,
That it actually has its own line item.
yeah, it's down at the bottom.
Okay.
Right there.
Kiosks, sorry.
That's 4,000.
That, I believe that was under the print ad buys.
And the Alpha Maps was the last one.
Alpha Maps is definitely under miscellaneous.
Okay. Do you guys have any questions about this?
I think my only question is, this last section says City of Trinidad fiscal responsibility. So I guess I'm just curious what that means. It's all coming out of the lodging fund regardless. Does it mean that the other buys, we're handing that money over to DIQ to administrate, whereas these last ones, that's all, the city is paying for that directly, like no involvement from the agency?
I believe so.
I see.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's all I was wondering about.
Yeah, and just looking at those line items, that is very much what we're working on, like ourselves without DIQ.
Gotcha.
I don't remember having travel stories.
No, that is a grant that we applied for, so
And
that's,
it goes directly to travel stories, or is that something the city decides where it goes?
the grant is written specifically for travel stories.
Interesting.
Yeah.
She's such a small company.
Yeah, I mean, and so it would be similar to like the Highway Legends, but a walking or driving around.
Oh,
tour.
yeah, I know, because I
Yeah.
listened to the ones from Orfano County, but when we did the Winterfest, we elected to use, we have recorded stories, yeah, already, that were used on, what was that crappy, Wish app? Is that, no, not Wish. What was it?
I think it was.
Yeah, I know.
No,
That's.
no,
the one
Wish app
that-
I feel like is something
Wish
to
Trip?
buy clothes on.
Wish Trip.
Wish Trip, yeah. But I don't know, we already have recordings that we used for Wish Trip, so they can be used for travel
Okay.
stories.
Good to know.
And Travel Stories does a good job, but she's a really small company. Her name is like Karen Story.
Never
Yeah.
heard of it. But I will be Googling it.
Okay, yeah, and actually download it on your phone. When you get close to Walsenburg, it'll say, would you like to have the tour of the blah, blah, blah? It'll pop up for you.
Nice.
Yeah, this all looks pretty good to me. I have this is a broader discussion we'll need to have on the agenda. That I guess we could talk about during miscellaneous a little bit. I don't have any real info on it yet. We've touched on it very briefly, but the sesquicentennial, so 150 years for Trinidad, 250 for the state. They coincide. You guys already have some things cooking for that. But one of the people who I think is taking some type of citizen leadership on that recently hit me up. So I'm probably gonna meet with her.
Mel?
Yeah, Mel. So I'll bring whatever we discuss to the board.
Super.
I also told her if she has a formal presentation to come and make, that we can get her on an agenda, but just mentioning it because we have some line items in here related to that. We are looking out to 2026, so plenty of runtime there, but good thing to make a lot of noise about.
It's a big one.
Yeah, totally.
Excuse me. All right, so we're gonna vote here to approve this marketing budget, or vote to recommend this marketing budget.
Yes, first vote, yes.
First we
Well, I
have-
have to have a motion.
No, it's motion, sorry.
Um,
I'm in motion to make recommendation.
I'll second that.
All right, and all in favor of recommending this final advertising and marketing budget to council, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right,
Aye, aye.
that's done. Next is the Trinidad State College funding request. We were all able to do the Google Sheets. What you
Yes.
got for results?
382 points, which per my thing from last time, that would mean instead of 10,000, it's 5,000. However, I have an idea. All the questions that we have on there, does this focus on one of the draws to Trinidad? Not necessarily.
Yeah, I only gave it a 3 for that.
But that is a large employer here, and it's a big feature of Trinidad. What I'm wondering is if we do another question on there, because although we are tourism, in the long run, this could be like an economic development move. If we have more people that are exposed to Trinidad State College, they want to spend their kids here, there might be kids that are looking, they go, oh, that's a cool thing. Oh, there's a college here? So it might have longer reaching financial benefits than just getting some rooms at the Wiki.
Well,
Yeah.
I was thinking a draw to Trinidad. Some of these kids that go there are actually from out of town, out of state.
Yeah,
They come in for the programs that are here. I counted that as a draw. 'Cause
I
parents
counted
aren't
as
going to
a-
stay in the dorms, right?
but you absolutely. But I see the difference when we're talking tourism. Is it a draw, or are we featuring art? Are we featuring architecture? Are we featuring pot? Or, whatever. That's something that we have kind of thought that's a draw for tourism. But Trinidad State College is a draw economic development, and for an event, it would be for tourism. So it has a longer financial ramification for people bringing here. Do we want to add something in there? Because right now, the way the score is, it's 5,000 instead of 10,000, if that's what the original request
I think
was.
they requested 5,000.
Okay, well,
We'll have
it's
to look.
half of what someone would be requesting.
So,
You know, I mean, with the broader topic there, it's pretty similar to like attracting any small scale conventions or meetings.
Yeah,
It's the same idea where, yeah, it's not tourism where they're coming here to go play necessarily. They might do some of that while they're here. But in the end, I mean, this is not the tourism board anymore, it's the lodging board. So yeah, it's,
okay, so it
Getting
needs to narrow
visitors.
down to lodging tax.
well, but not necessarily, because it's still visitors. So you're getting at the same thing there. So yeah, I mean, I think you're on the right track in terms of, it's bringing value to the town in more than one way.
Mhm.
So overall, yeah, net plus for the college event for sure.
So do we re-swizzle the scores? So we say there's a lower threshold for getting the full amount? Or do we add another question? Is this a large employer or there's a lot of pillars of employers or, trenders or, attractors that maybe we don't think about traditionally.
I want
as
I'll
a
have to be
tourist.
just
Does that make sense?
remember what.
They're big, so it can be, I mean, Pioneer.
I wish they would promote the
Evergreen.
archaeology museum. To me.
I know that, I mean, it's an entire weekend event, and it's drawing their alumni. I know that they have rented out space in the Space to Create for a banquet, and, you know, there's other event, I think it is a draw. I guess, and long story short, it is a draw.
I guess I was just stuck on the first question.
You're thinking about the form itself.
Yeah, sorry, I'm thinking about the
It's-
decision makers.
It's, I think what would potentially you would want to add would be like just an estimated head count, really.
Okay.
Or something about that also is like drawing from outside of town, right? That's the crux. It's like, okay, 200 people is great. That's bigger than a lot of small scale conferences would be.
How far?
But
is far?
are they coming here? Yeah, versus is it 200 people are going to attend my event, but they all live in Trinidad? Then it should be rated lower. So that's kind of a two-pronged.
So like,
So
are
what
the
kind of questions
attendees
would we
local
add?
or?
I think estimated attendance is a good one.
From how far out?
And then the other one
Radius.
is does it draw from outside of
Okay.
Trinidad?
Radius draw, okay.
That one might even just be a yes or no though.
So you want me to add those two questions? Because the rest of them, I think, has, you know, personal enthusiasm for the event. That allows each one of us to say, I think it sucks, or I think it's fantastic, right? In our own personal. And the rest of them, it still weighs in on what it is that we're trying to do in tourism, right? So add two more and just
Yeah.
change some scores.
The only other one in here I wonder about is favorable references, because I don't think that's something we ask for on the application, right?
Oh, no, that's based on, because we are well-connected and we have businesses in town, what do we know about the success of their events before? Do they choke at the last minute? Or how have things gone because we are involved in the community and we know, how well has their stuff gone before?
That one just seems a little tricky and potentially subjective, especially in regards to like a brand new event.
For
Okay.
that,
Because I think on this one I kind of was like, well, I'm not totally sure how to answer this. I mean, it's coming from the college, presumably they have their act together.
Yeah, that's what I worked on because
for that particular question, would that fall under the proposal must meet the funding criteria to include, one of these is 2 years of event project history.
Oh, that's, yes, right.
Including financial records for previous events or projects reported using generally accepted accounting materials
Okay, I like that.
or principles. I feel like that is kind of a reference. If they have to show us things they've
Sure.
done in the past, maybe not this particular event, but what events have you organized?
Okay.
Okay, so I can adjust that question to reflect more of the requirements that are in there.
Yeah, should be in your email.
Yeah.
Well, I sent it to you again today.
Yeah.
So, if you want, the first page, you can do
Okay.
something with that. Great.
And, does anybody here have a lot more experience on Google Forms?
I can fill them out,
I mean,
but I have never made them.
I've built my share of forms.
The problem that I'm having is when it goes into the spreadsheet, right? I already have a formula for where that score should land, so it calculates the formula and then puts it below, right? But the problem is every time somebody responds, it adds another line and all my formulas bump down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to keep it in that spot, so when somebody fills it in, that formula's right there. I had to go through and adjust each one. I also don't know if I transfer this onto our shared Google Drive, is it gonna keep up with it, or am I gonna have to make a new form?
Well, ours, it's not Google, it's 365, so
Yeah, it's
it
still
won't
different.
sync.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Well,
Well, I'd
It'd be
rather
good to
put
have
it
a
on.
copy
on
of
a-
every vote we do anyway.
yeah, I think.
Oh, yeah,
we're gonna-
exactly,
it's
that's
gonna
what
have
it
be
needs to
separate.
be on the,
Yeah.
on the shared drive, because otherwise, anybody who's holding it can adjust the numbers. I don't know about that. But I like how, the way this looks, I've got a tab for each event. So in the
Oh, I see.
interest of transparency, if somebody wants to go in and say, what did I score, what did each person score me as, they can go in and look, just go into the tab.
You know what I would probably do in terms of the archiving is like export each tab as a PDF and upload the PDF to the
And then
shared
just
drive.
put that on
And
the
it's
shared
just
drive.
that, I mean, it can technically be edited, but
Okay.
no one's gonna mess with it.
Is it okay if it's on my Google Drive for now, while we score these, and then,
I think that's
Okay.
fine.
Yeah, shared it.
I mean, all the discussions in public records.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't wanna get like Hillary Clinton in trouble, because I got my own hard drive.
So-
That, this one,
Can you
Yeah,
remind
well,
me-
yeah, I know, I'm kind of checking.
Can you remind me what score we had on that? And
382.
what is our total possible?
The total possible is 700, might be 600. Sorry, I meant to bring that page and I didn't. But below 500, that's what the threshold was. It was full amount they asked for, above 500, and then 499 to 300, I think was half the amount, and then below that, it gets lower.
I thought we had like above 500 was like
Perfect.
Okay.
Everybody loves them.
All right.
So back to this, so I do have everyone filled out the form. We have a number. Are we going to approve their $5,000 request?
What's our total? Yeah, it's like 47. And that probably went up a little bit, so maybe call it around 50.
Actually, 63.
No?
And then plus whatever we add when we find the real numbers.
Okay.
I think this event would be a great big draw.
I think it's worth it too.
I think we ought to give them the full amount.
We're gonna-
Even though understanding and on record, the decision matrix was kind of like, this is gradual elegance, we gotta figure out exactly.
I don't know, I think it's a partnership that will benefit us in the future as well, so I don't know. I think they have some. It's like
Well-
years of centennials.
I'm in motion.
Motioning.
I'm motioning
What are you motioning?
the full amount. Proposing the full
So
amount.
you're, just put forth a motion to recommend that we give $5,000 to the Trinidad State College 100th Anniversary Centennial Extravaganza Weekend. That's a lot.
Could they shorten the name or just make it an acronym?
That's okay. What do you think,
Second,
Joe?
I guess.
Alright. So all in favor of recommending $5,000 for Trinidad State College, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right.
Alright, so that one's done. Website edition update?
Yes.
Were you able to?
I
talk
was able to Nancy
Felicia?
through these things, and it was told, apparently the city does not give boards and commissions their own web page on the city site. What we could do is add the content, once it's approved, as a drop-down where LTAB is currently on the website. So I wanted to talk to you guys about that and how you felt about that prior to moving forward.
So meaning if someone wanted to see the information, they would go to the city website, go to the LTAB, and then there would be a drop down that would be like budget or.
So there's a boards and commissions page. Then you scroll down. There's the Lodging Tax Advisory Board. You click on it, and it pops out with this stuff. I mean, this is basically what I was envisioning. It would
Okay.
just be like underneath that, it just has links where it's like, here's like the 2024 update link that is just to a document that opens in a new window or whatever.
We can add links. I did talk to her about that. We could add.
That's probably the
links.
cleanest way to do it versus having a bunch of content that all of a sudden pops out there. Instead, like, you could basically just take the Word doc I sent you, save it as a PDF, and have it linked on there. So I think that's fine. I mean, it gets the information out there.
Was everybody able to, LTAB board members, were you all able to review the content that Joe had sent, well, that I had sent on Joe's behalf? For the actual content for the web?
To publish publicly.
Oh.
It's just like in About Us.
Yeah,
and
the one
here's
that
the
you
other
gave
stuff.
us the other day.
Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah.
Mhm. Roger just sent it out.
Because I can resend it, okay. And then, so I just need to get that approved by the city, and then we can put it up. Either edit it and put it up, or just put it up as is.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Sounds good. So the request of budget published monthly, that's under this website edition update. I guess a link to something that says, here's what we did this month.
Oh, sorry, so the budget published, sorry, two different things, right? So the website, I will move forward on that. The budget published monthly is no, we're not gonna publish it monthly. The budget for the city is public, and we can budget the yearly budget, but we're not gonna do the monthly.
Anything else on this line item from the agenda? Questions, comments?
Only that, I mean, I guess you can do sleuthing through minutes or recordings, but I expect there to be some citizens that are looking for that budget information this year with the tax increase. So that's all, is that both us as board members and city staff should probably be prepared to for people to ask where the money's going.
I guess I'll just speak for myself. My concern would be the actual, like, there's so much going on, right, with the budget that, like, there's so many moving parts. It's like a clock, and
Yeah,
that sometimes, like, you know, we had to, Creative District had to write a reimbursement check to the city because our card didn't work on Amazon, and so it's just a lot of those things that might look a little funny, and without the explanation, I just worry about every single month.
Yeah,
There's just a lot.
monthly could be a lot. I understand the admin overhead involved there. But I would assume that this is all getting reconciled at least quarterly, where we would have this spreadsheet. I mean, this is just the marketing one, but for the entire fund, where it's then saying like, this amount of money was debited, because it was spent on the TSC, we give them this $5,000, for example. So, you know, whether those monies are being allocated at the board's recommendation or at the city's discretion, it's being tracked. Like, we do know the money's going out of the fund. So that's all. It's basically a summary. It can be high level. It doesn't have to necessarily even be every single transaction. So that's all. As I just say, I expect people to be coming and asking us about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We will hear about that again this
It
year.
also will help us as we're planning moving forward, board and city-wise, just knowing what is left in each of the chunks of the fund, you know, as the year
So to
progresses.
clarify, you guys wanted the lodging tax budget published only?
Yeah, and then as it is spent, basically, to be like, okay, this was debited out for X, Y, Z as it goes.
Honestly, just something where when they say, where's the money going, say, here you go. Here's what we did in February. We approved this funding, that funding. This on ad spends, that's where the money went.
Well, yeah, and that's, I mean, we can do that level as a board, but the city's gonna take some of this money and spend it themselves as well. So that's where it becomes a black box, you know?
Oh, yeah, for us, if there is, say, a budget line that the city is spending out of and we don't know, then we run into a problem of how much money do we have left? Or say towards the end of the year, we're trying to fund a funding request and we don't know that there's nothing in there because it was spent on this, that, or the other that we weren't necessarily involved in. That's probably ran into last year in about midsummer. We didn't know what was left where. You want to say something? Come on.
Thank you. So I see the dilemma. I don't know how to word this, but our bills and payrolls are published. I mean, we have that issue with retail tax and how we spend it. We have to be accountable. The lodging tax is within our budget. It's, you guys make recommendations to city council and advise them, they approve them, so those budgets are approved. If there's extra money left, you guys will then take requests and then bring it to council again for their approval. So I understand the wanting to show people where we spend it. I'm just trying to figure out how to do that best in my mind. I get it, but it is ultimately council who spends the money. You guys don't. You advise council and say, hey, you know, here's these things that came before us. We really want you to do this. We advise. And then that's it. And you kind of track maybe to see that they're getting done. The funding being spent is tracked crazily. I will have to sit down with Cheryl. She's out. But I will sit down with her and see if there's a way to, you know, because I'm sure, I'm not an accountant, I'm sure she has them broken out by percentages when she, you know, reconciles the budget for that month or whatever. It's like it's coming out of these funds, like water, gas, sewer, you know, parks, blah, 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 all this, and these percentages out of this lodging tax. So I will work on helping you understand that and see if we, you know, and if you get those people that are like, you guys are mismanaging. Being in city government, we get that a lot, and we have the tracking of it all. We can bring it up, you know, and so I would definitely refer those people to the city, and I know that you're a big bad city, but we're the board that's doing this, and but let me talk to Cheryl and see how we can maybe get something for you.
Yeah, my concern is only that, you know, I don't want to go have someone go through this whole funding process and then we say yes and then it's no because, oh, we already spent that money on something else.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Right.
you know, that's kind of what we were running into was like, we wanted to fund something, but do we have the money? And nobody knew if we even had the money.
I think there's a step missing in there
Yeah.
that you can't say, yes, spend the money. You can say, yes,
Recommend
we'll bring this forward to council. And I think that's where, I'm interim, I'm thinking that's where the whole process came about, where staff has to review, that staff being mostly Cheryl, to see if the money's available before it goes, moves through there. So the committee within the city administration is looking at that. So you can tell these people, well, we'll bring this forward to approval, but you're not the final say on what's
No.
being spent.
Right. I think somewhere between the last board and this board that changed, or maybe it didn't like change, but the perspective, they're still stuck.
Right,
What
if
was
we
happening.
come before tourism board, they say yes, we get the money. That was the case when I was here last, this changed,
That
In between.
transition is hard to get through some people's.
yes, so. But, yeah, hopefully I can help.
Yeah, we are recommending the board, we would
'Cause-
only advise.
Yeah, and I don't, sorry, off topic a little bit, but I've been thinking about this a lot and maybe, some kind of a bit of a work session to get our roles aligned because it seems like there's still some old tourism
totally.
with the new LTAB and it's like,
It's
and
perception.
there's a confusion out there.
Oh, absolutely. That's what we ran into when we had a couple of visits from people.
Yeah.
I think there is something in the works. Talk to the mayor.
Ultimately, yeah, it's at city's discretion. So, but I'm thinking of specific line items or areas where, they'll be spent throughout the year, and then we may or may not have visibility into that. And it's not about controlling those funds or
Right.
anything, it's just knowing,
Knowing that,
having the knowledge of where that money is or how much we have left to make other recommendations. So even just out of this marketing and advertising budget, things like photography, 12,500. There might be 5 different photo shoots over the course of the year. When those happen, do we find out about them? Do we know that it's going down? Yeah, that's all. I'm just pulling
Sure.
one out to use as an example. Yeah. So,
oh, and I totally get the perspective that you guys are making all these recommendations and moving forward, and you don't know if your recommendation was a good one. Did it work? I get that.
well,
Or
or make
if the
recommendations
city
and never
council
find
agrees.
out if they move forward, if people just forget about them. The best example was, last year, we had a significant amount of money, as far as we knew, remaining in the recreational section of the fund. We got with the Parks and Rec Board. We came to consensus on some project ideas. We formally recommended them to council, and then we never heard anything again. I spoke to a council person about that, and he needed a reminder of what we had recommended. So
And
that money may have been spent somewhere else ultimately. We don't really know. It may have been folded into the reserve. But, we never receive anything back where it's like, oh, the city couldn't proceed with one of those 3 projects because of X, Y, Z. So I understand that there's often reasons for the decisions that are made.
Yeah.
But if we come say, hey, here's some great projects, we've talked to the community, we've talked to other boards, we're recommending them, and then nothing happens, we just got no insight at all there. So.
We had a couple of times ago, we were like, we want to recommend that the city take the Winterfest over, right? We never heard. And when I talked to Erin Ogletree, she said, yeah, nobody ever talked to us about that.
Yeah, some of
was
that,
a staffing issue, I think.
we also may need to get in front of council more regularly
Oh, yeah.
Right.
ourselves. So,
Okay.
and that includes on follow-up. So if we do go actually make a recommendation right to their faces, go to another meeting or work session down the road and just say, hey, remember this,
Yeah.
has this, progressed at all?
Right. And not to get too far off topic, but I don't know what Parks and Rec Advisory Board, what projects, and I don't need to know right now that just because you recommended and made them, city staff has to develop the project, has to do RFPs in there. It's a process.
Oh, yeah.
So it still could be in the works, whatever happened last year, I'm not sure.
Sure.
But
Yeah, I understand that. It always takes time, especially at the government level. I get it.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions about this portion? No? You ready to move forward?
Good.
Tourism report is next. We were given that in our emails. You guys have a chance to take a look at it.
No, I didn't. I opened it up and then the contractor showed up.
I did go through it. I'm gonna get it pulled up here. It's great intel. I would love to monkey around with those tools if there's any way that we can gain access, because there's like filters and things on there. I didn't have any real specific questions.
Those two, like, not the report, but the other two, report, not the.
Yeah, there's some, here, I'll just get it open here. Yeah, whatever, one of the data tools that was being used for intelligence there.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about like, oh, could we reframe this a few different ways? I didn't want to send that back and like make you guys do it for me, but if there's any way that we could, whether we do it at a meeting and play with it, or if we could get some type of level of access at the board level, just mostly out of curiosity, but it should help inform decision making. The one thing that I was wondering about specifically with this, here we go. It might have been out of the key data thing. We got the values. No, it was the visitor profile study.
That's
So,
very interesting.
Yeah, really good intel in there. But yeah, city visitation, where they're coming from, in-state, out-of-state. Wow, no, I can't remember what I was thinking about. But yeah, basically they have those global filter levels, and some of the like clustering selections you can make and
Yeah.
stuff. So just curious about playing with the data.
Okay,
honestly.
I can definitely ask.
Are we also, so is this a tool that city has purchased and is using, or is it with DIQ?
I think it's a mix. Some of it's DIQ, some of it's OEdit, some of it's DOLA. It just depends
I was
on.
gonna say, I think this visitor profile is part of what CTO puts out.
Okay. I just want to make sure that is shared with everybody too, so like DIQ gets this intel,
Yep.
so they can use it as they plan
Absolutely.
campaigns and stuff. Yeah, I mean, most of the stuff in the typed up report, I think we were more or less aware of. That's just what was going on throughout the year.
The ADR is $120. That's crazy.
This would also be worth publishing as a link. Yeah. I don't think there's any sensitive information in here. It's nice to be able to just point at things to be like, oh yeah, look at this event that had so many attendees, you know? As well as just the sheer number of events going on, because people aren't always aware of that.
The key data is from Airbnb and VRBO.
Huh.
So did we ever, I wonder, get VRBO? I know they were working on Airbnb, but like their taxes.
For taxes, yeah, I'm not sure. I also would be curious if we
Just
have
out of
this, that key data info, since it's all Airbnb and VRBO, if we have an equivalent from the hotels.
Okay, Dennis.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Because things like the occupancy rates,
Occupancy's low.
those are going to be way different.
Yeah. I did hotel for years. I haven't seen some of these. RevPAR. It brought flashbacks. Do you have anything that you wanted to tell us about this report? No? Okay. Do you guys have any questions?
No, interesting stuff.
Yeah, it's nice to see it on a map too. The community events report. There's all the things that we did this year.
All right, oh,
Visitation. Is this just for like the whole year?
Yep, this is all of 2024.
Okay. So the whole year we had 19,416 people at
Oh.
least document that they were active in the
Correct.
Visitor
Mhm.
Center. I guarantee you there's more than that. They just didn't sign the book.
Right.
Do you know how that's tracked? Is it like a door counter?
No, it's literally signing of the book.
Wow,
Yes.
20,000 people signed that book. That's
The
wild.
Colorado Welcome Center.
I mean, you can
Is
assume that a number of
Here in
people.
town?
Yeah, that's,
That's the one that.
Over by the roundabout?
Whistle Stop.
Okay.
And then the visitor center is the new one on Main Street.
mhm.
And that got 752. Has she been there all the whole year this year?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
The report starting on March, they didn't include Winterfest in this.
Yeah, it wasn't there.
Hmm. I think the other thing that might be useful on the reporting moving forward, and once again, I don't want to add too much work to people's plates, but so like we have all these events mentioned, but maybe just a quick call out to be like, was it supported out of the tourism office, you know, in some way? And
I
if,
imagine.
if so, like what did we provide? Like Lee's Barbecue Car Show. Like, was
Oh.
that just an event that they did that did have some level of draw? Like, or was it in some way supported by the tourism office?
I don't think that we did anything, or at least not through this board. The
Mhm.
city might have done something.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
I think this, to me, it looks like some of the things included here are just community events that were done, whether or not they received finance help from the city or not.
Sure. So just a quick note that is just like,
Maybe
Half-
put an asterisk.
exactly, yeah.
They also, and these are just all events that happened, right?
I think so.
'Cause I
And
don't
they're
see-
probably not all on.
Yeah,
there.
there's definitely more than
The
that.
rodeo was a big draw,
That is,
and it's in
mhm.
September, that's over Labor
It's
Day.
my
and
understanding
that's
these
not
are
on
like
there.
city-supported events, so
Oh.
we had something to do with it, whether it be street closures or,
Oh.
you know, park stuff.
Well, the Labor Day parade is organized by the rodeo.
They
Yeah, I
have
think
to
we
close the
also,
street.
we also did give the rodeo money
Yeah.
out of the lodging fund.
Yeah, but that's not on here,
Um,
right? Am I wrong?
you
It's
are.
tiny type, but,
What I'm thinking is these are things that Marty was involved in directly.
okay.
So not really all-encompassing.
Hmm.
So it's my understanding that everybody on here had to fill out an application for their event through the city,
Well, Labor Day.
Okay.
right? So
Maybe
like
just
Easter egg
missed it.
hunt, you had to fill out an
Rodeo.
application and pay for the park.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so then
Okay.
the city had to turn on the lights or, you know, open
Okay.
the bathrooms up, you know, things like that.
Because rodeo had to, they leased from the county,
Mm.
because the fairgrounds, okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then the Labor Day parade, you had to fill out forms to close roads, so that's maybe where she got the data from, okay.
And the estimate of the attendees are also from that form that they have to fill out. They have to say, how many do you estimate being
Oh,
here?
and then you just trust them?
But we're not gonna do a head count.
All right.
Cool.
I know we've talked about a few different times using cell phone tracking tools. The city has
Alpha
had
Maps.
a subscription. Yeah, Alpha Maps is one of them.
That's in our budget.
Cool.
Mark,
So we
you
should
see
have
that.
that for next year's report. So that's something we can check to correlate against, where you should be able to fence a specific area. So like, say they permitted a park, you could say who came to this park during that time, and we could get a closer number to a real count.
Yeah.
It's still not gonna be
An
exact.
actual, no, but just like
Somebody-
another data point.
Right.
And I think it would be really interesting to compare what they estimated on their application to
Yeah.
a real estimation.
Mhm.
Nice. Would
Well-
you do me a favor?
Mhm.
Would you be able to get with Marty or have her get with DIQ and let us know when Alpha Maps goes live?
Yep.
Thank you. Just out of curiosity. Cool. Any other questions for the tourism report?
Yep.
All right.
Thanks to all for
Yes, we
providing.
appreciate the hard work. Tell Marty we said thank you. The newsletter?
Yes, so it is in the DIQ budget for them to do the newsletter, so that will be starting, I think, in February.
So how is that gonna be distributed? Is that gonna be? on
It is
Facebook or
a
all
distribution list via email, I
over? Okay.
believe, that people sign up for.
Because Gretchen and World Journal, they're starting to do very localized newsletters. So where, World Journal, Trinidad Chronicle reports on politics and weather and all that kind of stuff, they're taking a very neighborhood approach, like, pictures of this is so-and-so walking their dog in the park, or those kind of things. So I don't know whether that was something, if we want to utilize that. to
Okay,
get
so
out-
maybe reach out to them to see what data, what they're
Yeah,
using.
maybe how that can help.
Okay, yeah.
Any questions about the newsletter?
No, that sounds great. I don't know if we want to provide any input into that and or review. Right now we're getting I need to go check. I haven't checked in a couple weeks, but there is a sheet with the queued up social media, Everyone please remember to take a peek at that now and again. But similar thing where if we receive the draft email, if we don't reply with anything by X date, you guys proceed.
Mhm.
Or we don't need to be that involved, we could
That seems
just,
micromanagement.
yeah.
I was thinking like if something comes up during one of these, we can maybe request it be added to the newsletter.
So we should definitely do that, where we're like, if we take note of something, just say like, hey, can we shout this out in the newsletter? But where we've seen blowback on the social front, and the reason I requested that is when there's inaccurate stuff in there, or typos and things, I realize that stuff happens. And I don't want to slow things down. That's why I would just say, you have 3 days to look at this, and if you don't, we're just going to move forward.
We've
But
got something-
extra eyeballs can catch stuff like that. And it doesn't even need to be major things, but it all adds up and creates a professional experience, So this is not a big deal at all, but like recent social media posts, Fisher's Peak Outfitters with an apostrophe, and I was like, doesn't have an apostrophe. It's not a big deal, but that's stuff that will get pushed out at some point. So yeah, we don't have to necessarily have eyeballs in every single newsletter, but just thinking about review of content and what goes into it, one way or another. Someone needs to review it, I think. Whether that is just Marty sees it.
I can definitely just put it out there, doesn't mean it's gonna happen, that, we
Right.
push it out. If you guys have 3 days to review, if we don't hear anything, we're gonna publish it regardless, so here's your chance.
How often are they doing this?
I don't know, I will find that out.
I would assume monthly, but maybe more frequently than that.
But I can ask, worst is a no.
Sure.
Pardon me. Are you okay, man? Sure, Ashley? You okay? Alright, anything else for the newsletter? Final thing in new business is campaign planning.
Oh,
I think you
yeah.
requested
This
we
is
talk
me.
about that.
So this is gonna be, I guess, a little awkward with relaying things around. It would probably be best to have a work session where we could have everybody at, but thinking about a campaign, like a specific advertising campaign, right? Or maybe two. But looking ahead into the season itself, what are we promoting? How do we want to bundle it up? things like taglines or like, this is the theme for our campaign. So like last year we had Lazy Crazy Days. But, that was Marty's concoction, and it was fine. We got new content out there. But like, we might have a better pulse on what's going on in town or how we want to package or theme things. Maybe DIQ wants to just run with it. The one thing that I brought up a few different times was doing a giveaway. So that's kind of what I've keyed in on right now, is approaching some businesses, asking who wants to be involved, if they would provide any type of discount to the city, or do we just want to buy these things out of the lodging fund. But basically a hotel stay, a handful of experiences, a handful of dining things. I guess maybe the potential of a travel stipend, although I don't think we need to go that far. And then putting together the promotion around it. So that would go in the newsletter, it'd go on social media, we need sign-up forms, and then a date that we choose the winner. When they come to town, we give them some Trinidad swag or whatever, let them go have a fun time, maybe get a photo up.
How far out is this just gonna be social media, or are we gonna try and hit some of these regions on, sorry, I put my phone, those reports that said where we get the most amount of visits?
Well,
Or
I
is
think
that
we would
gonna rely on
do,
social media to do that?
well, you would do targeted ads
Okay.
through social, and DIQ could admin all of that. So that would fall under their part of the spending we already have allocated.
Okay.
So the only additional cost there is securing the experiences themselves.
I would think a lot of other small cities like ours try and do something like that.
Yes, I have won 2 of them in
Really?
the past. I went to Jackson Hole. I got to do we got a hotel stay, a Yellowstone safari, like lift tickets for the gondola. I forget what else we had there. And then I did one for Carbondale, Colorado. So that's a better.
So how did those come to you? Do you just get an email, or did you see it on social media and
Saw it on
apply? Because I'm
social.
wondering, I would think there's some organization where all those are like bundled together, and probably Colorado Tourism Office, they
I-
promote stuff like that.
Oh, in terms of just getting
Yeah,
the word
because
out.
it goes into their advertising campaign, and they have measurements on who comes to Colorado. So their social media promotes all of those cities.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain they came out of their local tourism boards
Okay,
or an equivalent.
okay.
Or
There's-
maybe an economic development group or something like that.
Okay, I just didn't know if it would get more traction or more reach if the Colorado Tourism Board is already doing something like that for all the small touristy towns in Colorado, and they could have more impact if they're promoting that.
So the Carbondale one was their Chamber of Commerce. That's
Okay.
what I
I was
corresponded
gonna
with.
say, that was floating around my head, I'm not gonna lie. That does sound like a job for chamber.
I mean, we can partner with
Because
them on it
Yeah,
in terms of getting participation from businesses or whatever.
yeah.
But if we have funds and we can just go buy it at
Yeah.
a retail rate, someone has to admin it for sure. But yeah,
We can ask,
We can ask.
but,
it's my favorite idea for a campaign though.
I like it.
but that does sound like the plan. I wish that we had more packages in general, like Fisher's Peak Outfitters working with the Hilton on a package of a hotel room and an outing. I mean to go talk to them to ask them if they think they can handle outdoor recreation with like 40, 50 people on a bus.
They've done like ice fishing trips, they've done a lot of great things. They've been hiking during the summer, and
They do a lot. They do great.
They do.
They have a lot of outings. But yeah.
So yeah, that's just my one idea. That's basically a single campaign. If we wanted to go beyond that for something else later in the year, we can always talk about that. But now's the time to get these things lined up, so they're just ready to go. The season's going to be here really quick. So I don't know then, Veronica, if you want
What do we make
to
a
relay that idea, and we can just go from there.
this fly snowstorm.
Or if we want to try and pull together a meeting where everyone's around. I mean, I'm okay with somebody running with that or with a different campaign, but I want to be a little more strategic and ahead of the game versus the way things went down with the Lazy Crazy Days, because that kind of got pushed out like in the middle of the summer. And I also think having some kind of carrot is an easier way to get people to like sign up and engage with stuff. So giveaways kind of an easy way to do that.
I will relay and let you guys know next time, or I can email whatever if it's sooner than that.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like the groundwork, I'm sure that we all have contacts we can go talk to about getting the experiences. And potentially we could come up with at least a framework for that, where it's like, here are the things that we want to be included in this package. So yeah, I'm not sure the best way to take a next step, but.
I'm gonna put on the next agenda discussion of a work session for the summer campaign. That way we can sit and discuss, find out what her answer, and then discuss who would we want to include, what we would
Yeah,
want to
just
try
the
to do.
logistics and details, just like people come in and present to you guys with their whole, right, all of the logistics, that would be helpful to have.
I'm sure.
Can I
Yes.
ask?
Go for it.
Since you won those weekends, what kind of follow-up have they done? What are you seeing that comes to you? What are they,
It's
how are
been
they
a-
trying to leverage
it's
your
been a while.
enjoyment of the area?
It's
Okay.
been a while, I probably unsubscribed. In the end, the main value is not the single person coming here, but it does get amplified. So like, I definitely posted photos from that.
Yeah,
And was like, wow, check this cool place out in Carbondale or whatever. But it's like, I mean, it's less, that's just one person, right? Or a
yeah.
family. But we're gonna get probably hundreds, if not thousands, of signups.
So it's about
Ideally,
capturing name, it's
yes.
about capturing data. That's-
Always
That's about it. I just didn't
everything
know
marketing.
how Carbondale and the other place and Jackson Hole were using
Sure.
the benefit that you stayed there. Are they like, have you thought about talking to a realtor or, you know?
So, I mean, I remember getting Jackson emails at least for a while. So it just feeds into your marketing machine. Anytime you can collect any data, that's an intent signal,
Yeah.
and it's saying like, oh, I'm interested in your thing. It also gets more eyeballs just on Trinidad, period. So like, we have a nice graphic that's like, you know, win this stay where you get guided fly fishing and kayak rental, and people are like, wow, I didn't know that Trinidad had good fly fishing, and then
Yeah.
that's in their mind, you know. So there are various ways we can follow up. We can brainstorm with DIQ about the best way to do the next steps post-campaign. But it's two-pronged. One is just data collection. The other is like a marketing push. So it's putting it out there saying like, here's cool stuff. So, I mean, I would think that Jason would probably want the well in the mix there, but we can go talk to the other hoteliers too. But yeah, to be like, oh, there's like a boutique hotel in Trinidad, like I didn't know that. So yeah, just a way to amplify whatever we're already promoting.
Anything else for that campaign plan? No? Let's do miscellaneous. Got anything?
Last time, when I wasn't able to be here, I gave you the stuff that Dave Miller sent me. And that it would be a really good idea on the tourism website to have a part for meeting planners, a place where they can go and get more information. We paid an amount of money, and I know Marty works on this for I think it's Destination Colorado. It's for meeting planners to attract more meetings, conferences, that kind of stuff to here, right? But what are we doing beyond that? It'd be great to have one page on the tourism website for meeting planners. Would you like to have your event here? Blah, 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 and go to a link and have that. I thought it was a really good suggestion by him, and I didn't know if it was something that we could get built into.
I believe we can, if it's not already in the works, but I will find out.
Yeah, he gave me like a list of all these reasons why would we want to have that on there. And I thought it was good.
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
I'll go through it and see.
Okay.
Maybe put something in there for discussion. Do you have any miscellaneous, Joe?
No, nothing today. Already mentioned the Sesquicentennial Centennial stuff. There'll be more to come there. I don't have anything to say about it. Just
Yeah, Mel does have a group
Announce
together
every
for
time
that.
you said it.
Ha! I'm an English major.
Oh, is that?
Now do the big one with septicemia.
Yeah,
They made it like
good.
even
I
bigger.
think that's the 150. So what's the 250? Then?
Oh,
It's got a lot of syllables.
Deca.
It does.
No,
Let's
it's,
see. Sesquicentennial. So it's the septicesquicentennial.
Semi-quincentennial.
They put it all together on the.
Or quarter millennial, which is a lot easier.
Yeah, it is, that's a lot easier.
Cool. Yeah, they do have a group in town that is meeting. I have that in my email as well on that. So they're gonna be doing something for that. I see we are doing the coins and pins, street banners and posters.
we're doing a call for artists too, to have like a,
Local.
yeah, call for local artists for either a watercolor or an acrylic painting done for that specifically, and then we would make 30 prints of it to sell the limited editions.
Ah, cool.
Nice. Do you have any miscellaneous? No. All right, next agenda.
And I'm not gonna be here on the 13th because we are getting an award, so.
Well,
Nice.
congratulations.
Congratulations.
What kind of award?
It's a business award, it's a milestone.
Ah, sweet.
Become member clients.
Nice.
Well, DIQ is not on there anymore, so that's fine. Right now, all I have is a discussion of a work session. The tourism report is gonna be on our second. Anything you guys can think of we need to talk
I
about?
think you said the
next
summer campaign, no?
time? Say what?
Summer campaign?
The discussion of the work session for that.
Okay.
Yeah. So who we're gonna invite to that, when it'll be. Hoping to have the other two board members here for that when discussion. Yeah. And maybe work out some kind of agenda for that, or what are we gonna, what's our goal out of the end of that? Well, if anything comes up that you wanna put on the agenda between now and the 11th, although the 11th I will be out of town. So let's make that the 10th. Send it to me, let me know. If Marty has anything, tell her, send it to me, let me know.
And
Otherwise, we're just gonna talk about that and then go home.
and then I'm gonna go to the thing in March, right? You
March.
want to be here
Well,
with anybody, or is it, I'll be hawking our wares at a table?
No, it is like you just have the table, you know. Last year I brought whatever brochures we could get together, some visitors guides. Really popular was the gravel guides. I don't know if we have any of those left.
I'm about to go over there to get some for the shop. It was getting down to slim pickings, so I can let you know.
Okay,
That is something that we absolutely should spend money on reprinting.
okay.
What?
I thought I had mentioned it, but it never came
Well,
to
we
me.
need to probably formally recommend out of somewhere in the budget to get that
The print
reprinted.
stuff.
The broader discussion there would be, do we want to get a version 2 produced? So, Juan has mentioned to me they could go update it, change or add routes. There's also ad space in the back that they sell that may or may not be up to date anymore. Other things in there just like about Trinidad. So, things like calling out the rad, for example. So, yeah, that's a broader discussion we could talk about and
Put it
maybe
on the
put on the next agenda. Yeah. We would have to go get a proposal from them. It's not going to be cheap. If you recall, we had
Yeah.
that previous one. And actually, did that include a
That was expensive.
gravel guide update? Because there were 3 items they proposed.
Right,
Um,
and the gravel guide
I know
was
we did
very
the one.
expensive, I remember
But
that.
I don't think we did the other two. Maybe we just did the one where they had the guy come in.
So yeah, they were gonna have a guy come down and do like filming. Yeah, he's gonna come do a ride and do the YouTube stuff. Oh, and they were gonna do a new short film. So I would probably expect for an update, should be cheaper than a brand new guide. I don't know what we spent on the first one, but we're gonna be talking in the realm of tens of thousands to get it updated, I think. So we can chat about that later. But if we're gonna do a reprint, it's worth talking about if we wanna adjust the content.
Right, and we don't have much time because this event is at the beginning of March.
It's not gonna happen before the
Okay.
event,
So-
unfortunately.
How many
A reprint
people go
could-
to this, and who's the audience? Is it just people who are like, I don't want to go on a trip in Colorado, where do I want to go this year?
No, no,
Okay.
it's international.
Oh,
So there's booths from all over the world.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
Do we have a pop-up or banner or something?
yeah, there's, Marty has banners.
Okay.
She has a couple of them. And then you might want to check with her on how to set them up before you go.
Oh, yeah.
Because one, I just couldn't set it up.
Really?
I
But
didn't
is it
know
just
what
one of
it
those
did.
accordion ones you pull out of a tube?
Yeah, it comes with like a shade.
Oh, gotcha,
Or
okay.
it comes
Because
in-
our table's just, it's like
Yeah,
this
it's just
with
like a
TV
little
tray.
6-foot long table.
Okay. Oh, all
um,
right, that's different.
Yeah, like with the fold out
Mhm.
legs. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna need to get with Marty on what to bring. We need to touch base with her too because they haven't paid yet.
What event are you guys talking?
The Travel Adventure Show.
Okay.
It's March 8th and 9th in Denver at the Convention Center. I attended last year.
I will keep my fingers crossed for good weather. You never know.
Okay.
Yeah, it didn't snow when I was there last year, and that was in February.
Okay.
But this year it's in March. It's with the Tour Colorado. It's a booth that they have, and at the booth there are like 8 tables, and we're a member, so we get to have one, or we pay for one of the tables at a reduced rate. Generally, it's much more expensive to have a booth there, but we share the cost of the booth.
Is it just you going?
Yeah.
Last
I might bring Huster.
We it was like last year you would check in, turn around, walk into the hall, and we were right there in front and center, big round thing, big Colorado.
So there's a lot of other cities in there. Is it generally the same cities that come every year?
I would imagine it'd be very I mean, it's like Thailand is out there.
What is
all
this
of
called?
It's the Travel Adventure Show.
Oh, that's fun.
It's nice, and they all got swag. So if you walk around, you get a
It'd
you'd be like collecting bags and pens and all kinds of
Ooh, I don't
stuff.
have enough of that.
Yeah, they all have
Swag.
It's and she did. You are on the stage for a second too. Just
Okay.
yeah, you just.
Can I sing?
I'm sure.
Okay.
I'll tell you. Yeah.
Okay.
I won't be there. But no, I just got up, said a few
No
things.
business.
Yeah, said a few things about
Interpretive
Trinidad.
things.
And that. But yeah. Anything else on the next agenda? No. All right. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I
Motion to
can't make
adjourn.
the motion. Okay. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Hey.